Well, hey guys, thanks for stopping on by. This is episode number 7. I'm ImperialJedi, and I just did a little bit of off-camera building to get us started here, but I've got quite a fun episode in store for us. What I did was a bit of terraforming, and I put in a freshwater outflow pipe right here that's connected to kind of like a little closed loop, but it's an intake pipe right here, a little water pump. Got their own little power plants too, and like the goal for that really was just to not flood this lake. So we're just drawing water from the lake, putting water back in the lake, but I wanted this cool little waterfall. And it's kind of tough to make waterfalls in here, I mean, without making like too much of a dramatic height difference. So we can try a waterfall somewhere else, but I just wanted this kind of this nice little flowing stream creek kind of thing. And I think it turned out nicely. So we'll kind of build in around here, and you guys were basically asking for kind of like a little park or something down here. Just, you know, add some water effects. Maybe we got some walking paths through here. We can possibly push some more of the land out. And you guys can kind of notice already, forget the fire, don't worry about that. I kind of made some hills for us here. So I thought for this episode what we could do, just so I can give you guys some more inspiration, just in terms of like high density zoning and whatnot, is we could just do some good old fashioned neighborhood building over here. So we'll work in the 6-lane road, kind of stretch that across, just kind of plan a little bit for the future, but we'll just kind of build into the hills, work in some more high density, and just kind of talk about the city and just have some have some fun in that sense. And then guys, something I totally did not realize up until now, when I'm uploading the city to the workshop, this entire time I thought that if you didn't have the DLC, that all the bike lanes, all that kind of stuff, they would just be there without the bike lanes, like those roads. But unfortunately, it just removes the entire road. So some of you guys have been showing me screenshots, like when you upload the city, or download the city, you just are left with like very few roads. And so I didn't even realize that. I totally apologize. So what I'm going to do this episode, and I won't do it every episode because it's a little bit time consuming, unfortunately. What I'll do is, after like big episodes, after we make like a big central transit hub, after we do our, train little hub over here, like our little industrial train port, and, maybe after we do the airport, like, big episodes, I'll upload the city twice to the workshop. And what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll downgrade all the roads just back to basically what you would get if you had just bought the base version of the game, so like no DLCs. And I'll kind of make it clearly labeled so you guys know which one to download, so that way you don't feel like you're being left out if you don't have the DLCs. And a lot of people do ask me if you need them to play, and and this and that. And I personally think they add a lot of depth to the game, and you get like a lot more road options, like that kind of stuff. So I'd say go for them. They do happen to go on sale often, so put them on your Steam wish list, and get 2 for the price of 1 type thing. So don't feel like you're rushed on that in that sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some building done here. But I apologize, guys. I had totally no idea there. So I hope we're still friends here. Okay, so let's stretch this 6-lane road across for starters. Unfortunately, our poor highway network is entirely crooked relative to the rest of the city, but I don't really think that matters too much. And you can kind of see, I'm trying to stick away from grids, but now that we're starting to kind of get the city a little bit more built, you can kind of see my hidden plan here. So even though we're not really gridded out, we've got these like hidden super mega grids. So I use the 6-lane roads for them. They're just basically long corridors, and they're just so good for managing traffic. And even though traffic is not a problem over here, I'm just being a little bit preemptive. And let's just upgrade this. Because I've had quite a few of you comment about how absolutely over the top our little highway network is, and I totally agree. And troublemaker, eh? Sometimes I can get lucky if I do this in reverse. We'll see. No, okay, well, 1 second here, guys. Just delete that little segment. Oh, I need a bike lanes. There we go. Perfect. So great for traffic. Okay, so let's leave the game running on 1 speed. But we'll make another mixed-use neighborhood over here, and let's go ahead and put in another bridge over on this side. And I have something I want to show you guys too, just kind of going back to kind of high density and planning and parks, and the whole concrete jungle, and getting lost in the and mix kind of feel. Do I like that little bit of the, I think I do. We could have made that go totally flush, but I think I like that gentle little up curve. Okay. So yes, over here, for example, right? Like the streets, I mean, they're a little bit far apart. So you can kind of see we've lost a little bit of space here in the center. And I think that that doesn't really look too good overall in the city. So in instances like this, just because the center of it is it's totally lost and just, it looks too, you know, it's like lost in shadows and stuff. What I'll do is maybe put a park or something down. Just, actually use a smaller one. Just kind of put that right there. Just so that, you know, it brightens up the day, doesn't really feel like you're too lost in the concrete jungle. I mean, I don't know how to explain that too well, but it's not really that claustrophobic kind of feeling anymore. And that's not to say that you can't do wall-to-wall high-density zoning. Like I was saying that in the last episode too. You'll kind of see, like over here, we'll kind of plan a little bit more for that, but we would kind of put high-density zoning in, say, like neighborhoods like this, where it's a little bit more back-to-back, like wall-to-wall, so you don't really lose too much of the space right here. So you can kind of see, I'm just doing a little bit of office building. I know we don't actually necessarily need offices right there, and we are losing, unfortunately, a bit of our commercial space. So I'm going to put some commercial shopping back in, but what I'm going to do is just a little side road. But yeah, I kind of want like this for my wall-to-wall zones. That just makes a little bit more sense. Or you can kind of see like up here, right, how it's like half and half. I think that just looks easier on the eye. Or you can see how we can just kind of did like one tower over here, just kind of mixed in here and there. The fire's still going, eh? I think that looks a little bit nicer too. Not to say that it didn't look nice to have this big boxed in area, but just look how much better that looks, right? I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so let's put some shopping in over here. Getting a little bit sidetracked, but then we'll yeah, we'll go back to our new neighborhood. So I'm actually going to do this. Displace some people. In our demand, it's really not for residential right now, so I'm not expecting these people to move in right away, but we'll just kind of get it set up and planned ahead of time. And then we're going to do, just towards the end of the episode, a little bit more of a push to kind of fill in the rest of that. Then we'll put in some services, and then I think that'll be it. Okay, so we'll just do a simple avenue coming through here. And I'm just going to make sure that we're not really going too steep. That's kind of on the border, but I think we can do that. That's a little bit too steep, so let's do a little bit of terraforming. It'd be nice to kind of come in with a bit of a curve too, actually. So since we're going to terraform, just kind of go a little bit. Yeah, that's better, right? And we'll just gradually raise the road over here. Oh, perfect. Really like that. That's so much better. Okay, let's not lose those rocks, but let's keep a nice little curve going, and maybe we can get a bit of zoning happening on both sides of the street here. And I guess we could just connect like that, even though it doesn't really go in straight. It's just, it's off enough of an angle that I think we can keep it. Say, for example, we were coming in at an angle of just like, I can't even get that just right. I'll do it next to that one for reference. If you're coming in like one square off like that, I wouldn't do it just because it looks like we were trying to go in straight, but it didn't. So when it's very, very subtle, I don't like that. So what I'll do is try to over exaggerate it so you can tell that we know, like we're aware of the fact that these aren't, you know, these aren't even Steven, but we're kind of working with it type thing. But again, like, you know, it's, I mean, I've said this in the comments. I think I maybe even said it before. It's like, you guys are building your own cities. Like, don't worry if you don't like what I'm doing. That's totally no problem. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm just trying to give you guys some inspiration. Hopefully have some fun along the way with you. I think we kind of do here and there. And you guys are pretty awesome with your suggestions too. So I feel like we're kind of, you know, building the city together in that sense. Okay, so for this little hilled off area here, I would like some high density at the top, some houses maybe kind of scattered along the sides, so we can probably sneak a curved road in. But whenever you're doing these kind of neighborhoods or suburbs, that kind of stuff, you don't really want just one way in and one way out. So we'll kind of use, you know, like this little avenue back here, and then maybe kind of connect through here as well. Otherwise, it's a recipe for traffic. And then in these areas, especially when it comes to, wider roads that are nearby, like less is more. So we're going to be using smaller roads here. Not going to be using too many of them. And I just kind of looking for the steepness of the overall kind of incline here. And I got no problem taking the long way up. Because visually, that'll look pretty cool, too. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Especially if we can get a bit of zoning along the way. Oh, so what we could do is have a roundabout at the top right here. Like a little 3x3. That's kind of cool. Oh my goodness, no. Okay, so where would our second approach be from here? So we're kind of same kind of irony here. It's like too steep, and we end up with that. Well, what we could do, even though it doesn't necessarily look all that nice sometimes, so I might not keep it if it doesn't work. But you start with a tunnel. Where's my snap point? It's so steep, and then if you can get lucky sometimes with the way the tunnel exit kind of comes out, I mean sometimes it works. I mean, it's actually not so bad. I was saying often you're left with, wow, how did that just line up? How about that? Well, okay. I gotta stop being such a negative Nilly here. All right. And this is just to make use of the available zoning squares. And I'm just not a big fan of dead-end roads, and I think it's just a personal preference. And my thought process behind that is kind of like zone coverage. It's a lot more efficient to get like services and zones and all that stuff kind of done when it's not, when you don't have dead-end roads. Okay. There, I was gonna say it'd be cool if we can get that to connect too. Oh, so that's, I mean, this is pretty neat. We don't have anything back here, so let's try and just get a little. And much to my pleasant surprise, it's actually not too steep. I think we can get rid of that as well, just to free up a little bit more space in here. And I want to ambitiously try to maybe connect just that to that, just to kind of help the look a little bit. Hey, all right, cool. That's cool. Has a nice little flow to it. Digging the roundabout too, and this is neat. That little second way in. All right, so let's put down a few parks and stuff to start, just so we can kind of visualize where everything's going to be. If we can get a park in there, I think we can. I think I said, yeah. All right. Because you'll notice people talk about this towards like late game and stuff. Like we don't have the problem right now because we're still pretty early on, but your RCI demand, it will eventually kind of fall off a cliff, and you'll notice it just seems like it's going nowhere. So you can artificially create it in the sense that like if you're, making a new residential neighborhood, it's got like, public transit, it's close to highways, lots of services, like who wouldn't want to live there? So you might just get a bit of an influx of people because the area just has high land value, just looks so attractive. And, those people are going to want somewhere to shop, so then that starts to create some commercial demand, and then they'll want somewhere to work, so they can kind of maintain this extravagant lifestyle of theirs, so that'll create some industrial demand. And then it should hopefully balance, but don't feel like there's a certain point where this game just stops getting, you'll stop getting people. Technically, you can go up to 1 million Sims in your city, which is, I don't know, that's huge. Biggest city I've managed to get to is almost 300,000, and that was a lot of effort. So You have to have a nice computer to be able to do that too. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but just I hope you guys know. Oh, and something I totally don't want to forget to do is your high density has a set of taxes as well. Let's go ahead and set those to 12%. All right, perfect. So these we can do a little bit more wall to wall just because it's a better use of the space overall. I don't necessarily want all tall buildings up here though, so let's start taking a little bit out. And I did zone on the roundabouts here, which is a little bit peculiar to do, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that deep in your city. But I think up here, it's like local traffic only, not the end of the world. And of course, our people will need somewhere to shop. Some shopping around our park. Very convenient. That's such a fun way in, I love that. And then this can be some people as well. Okay. And it gets some high density in here too. Oh, it's gonna look so awesome. So something that I'll do as well with high density zones is I'll sometimes maybe leave a long distance in between intersections. I don't necessarily think I'll do that. And then I'm not going to do this here, but something that you could do as well is not zone on certain segments of your 6-lane roads. You can have this entire segment be zone free, and that could be like, say, a small little expressway or something. Just a faster way to get people through the city without having to worry too much about running highways or anything in. Because your speed limit's a lot faster on the 6-lane roads anyway. Bringing in some power. Oop. This is for our on-ramp to the highway, so that would not be helpful. Can we put a service building or something here, I wonder? Not being too disruptive, or maybe a little park people can walk to. Oh, I did not mean to do that, but I'll still keep that. And let's just actually do this. And then really when it comes to high density, like there is no set formula, so you just want to be prepared for more traffic. We'll eventually be moving into you know, public transit, which helps immensely, like to a point where it's crazy. Little parks are a little bit close together, but that's okay. I think to justify having this many parks, maybe we can put in some more high density. And these, you know, because it's wall to wall, should look a little bit nicer. But if you did find that even the wall to wall stuff was a bit too much looking, you can always have some pathways like this in between. Just kind of break the buildings up a little bit more. So yeah, we're losing a little bit of zone here, but just if you wanted to. Or just not zone completely. Just have some spaces open. You know, it's dropping a couple of trees or whatever. Whatever you like. Okay. And I'm just making sure that this is kind of definitely kept separate, so we're not connecting over to that. Okay, so power, worry about that in just 1 second, because I know we can get some more people in here if we do some of that. There we go, that'll spread the power. And then right here, for example, if you're a pedestrian and you wanted to just visit a shop like that, it'd be inconvenient to have to walk the whole way down. So what we could try to do right here that's not so hard. Now, unfortunately, the grass is going to kind of poke through like that, but just a little pedestrian walkway. Not too steep. And then if you wanted to get to the other side of the street, you'd have to use that crosswalk. But that's not, I mean, it's not bad. I like that. Okay, so let's drop down some services. That'll definitely help this area. And then that'll get the power going too. Let's put a hospital right here. That's a cool spot for that. Graveyard over here. Dealing with our death care. Yeah, why not? Have a fire station at the top of the hill. In terms of coverage, we should have one. See how like that 6-lane road, because it goes underground and connects over here, helps a lot with the all these buildings. So that's a really good spot for that. Put a fire watch tower in. We will be doing some natural disaster stuff, so stay tuned for that. And so we got a police station in here. Schools. See, one at the top of the hill, one at the bottom of the hill. And I would love for that to go right there. Does that still work with power? It does. Get rid of that altogether. And you know me, I've been putting these together, so why not keep the trend alive? It's a nice little pairing, I think. And, you know, kids should be doing sports. Okay. And, alright. Don't need to worry about a university. We will soon, but we'll build ourselves a university campus, a whole bunch of other, you know, like I was saying, a whole bunch of other stuff. Main transportation hub, little farming community, some suburbs. Otherwise, we'll just, I mean, onward and upward. We got a lot to do with the city. So, okay, let's not get too sidetracked here. Okay, so this is basically good to go for the moment. Let's do one more little back street over here. And that surprisingly is not too steep, so that's actually going to stay. All right. Perfect. And then over here, just so I can get more houses in, I'm going to be making a few streets that are like super, super, super close together. Oh, and that doesn't actually work. Oh, darn it. Oh, and that doesn't even line up. Also, oh, darn it. Oh, well. Oh, and one of you pointed out, you can empty these into another cemetery if you still wanted to move it. Same with the dumps. You don't actually have to have an incinerator or a crematorium. Something I totally should have mentioned in the first one, so I appreciate you guys pointing that kind of stuff out. Totally feel free. Okay. Let's get rid of a little bit of that, help out with that. So this will be housing. And it's a little bit more high density. All right. So now we're going to go over and just do some work in the little office park. Otherwise, I mean, this is really cool. I like this a lot. And I think I actually want to put one more park in. Right here. Love it. Oh, darn it. Can't get that one. That's so awesome. That's impossible. Not too keen on that either. Well, I guess we're stuck with that. Okay, so this will totally fill in very, very quickly once we do a little bit more work over here. And I kind of had something in mind actually for this. So let's use that same part again. Get rid of that. switch over to that. And do these... No. Oh, yes. Haha. And there we go. And that way, when we build our little office plaza kind of area around here, or a little office park, it doesn't really feel like it's too kind of lost in the in that concrete jungle either. And I'm just trying to mix up a little bit how the neighborhoods kind of come together, just for some variety in how the buildings zone in. Okay. And I left on the right and on the left, you can see these are a little bit longer in terms of where the intersection spacing is, just for a bit more efficiency. And then you can see visually, like, we should be doing this connection right here. That would make sense to alleviate some traffic, and even that. And then overall, it's a very, very good use of the zoning squares. And then wherever there is a little bit of space in between, you can kind of see what I did over here. Just drop down a whole bunch of trees and stuff. You don't really get to see that, though, if it's like super, super tall buildings. You can see how that kind of turned in. That's really nice. I quite like that, actually. All right, let's put on 3-speed. Since our... Ooh, we didn't... Did we zone this all? We did. Let's do that, too. Put it on 3-speed, and let's admire this area fill in. But I think otherwise we are... I think we are done with this episode. This turned out really nicely, didn't it? Not too chaotic. Nice little peaceful neighborhood. Traffic's pretty good. Traffic's quite nice. I'm just a big fan of the city in general. Alright guys, like I was saying, I'm going to be uploading this in kind of like 2 sections. So for those of you who have the DLC and want the bike lanes and all the extras, all that kind of stuff, just download as per usual. And then I'll have one just titled like no DLC and like the description and stuff, like no DLC and everything. And yeah, feel free to download that, guys. And it's not something I'm going to do every episode. I'll do it every once in a while, so definitely no problem. Or like you guys like, you know, really need it or something, like let me know. I do have the save files kind of all on hand type thing, so just let me know. And you guys can always like direct message me on Twitter. That's usually the best way. Sometimes like YouTube comments, they get a little lost in the mix because so many just kind of come through, but you should be following me on Twitter anyway. I kind of post some fun stuff over there. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Hopefully when we come back next episode, this will be nice and filled in, but I think it looks pretty cool so far. I'm very happy with this. Oh, and I love when like the timing of a traffic light is just like just right. Oh, like look at this, just perfect outflow. I love it. No one has to wait too long. Love when that happens. Alright my friends, I will see you in the next episode. Happy building. Hope all is well in your own cities. Feel free to share some screenshots. Like I'm going to be working on getting us a subreddit up and running too, so stay tuned for that. And I'll be posting some links. Alright guys, take care of yourselves. See you again.